This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up on the street, because them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.
DB coach says he's gotten way bigger paws, but has not lost no speed. And Antonio Cromartie says he loves Sting, doesn't get the love he should get. Ron, are you hearing the same thing? Is Stingley looking like the quarterback we were hoping for?
Hey, look, he looks the part. All right, I've gotten a chance to see him a little bit out at off-season workouts, and he looks good, man. He looks good, and they need him to be. The big thing with him is just health, is the injury situation. That's right. The big thing with him. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, hey, if he's healthy, look out. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I was one, and I won't, pat myself on the back, but I was one that I believed more in the Sauce Gardner, and I thought he could work in any kind of defense. And then we got to see what he did as a first-team All-Pro this year as a rookie. I'm not certain. I'm not going to sit here and say if he's healthy, he's going to match that. But if he's healthy, he has every single tool that you need. And one thing that I think he's gotten too much of a pass on is he's got way too much blame to me towards Lovie Smith, right? I honestly, I don't think Lovie put him in the best possible positions. I don't think that. But, hey, dog, you got his skill and talent. At some point, you got to make a play. Like, you got to do, like, you have to do something to show me, like, all right, man, I might not be in the right position all the time, but I'll go out and make a play. And it's just rarely did he ever even show up, like you notice he was out there, that he made his presence felt. And I don't just attribute that all to the type of defense that Lovie put together. So I think he's got all the tools, but I think he's riding a little bit on Lovie Smith, this, Lovie Smith, that. I want to see this dude make plays because he's got that kind of ability.
All right. BT?
So I slightly disagree with you there. I think that he definitely has all the tools. I think that, yes, health has been his biggest issue. What I'm very happy with is he took that seriously and decided that he needed to put on weight, and he looks a lot bigger. Yeah, pause. But he looks gigantic. His legs, his arms, his upper body, he worked on it. He definitely was in there working on to make sure that he was playing all 17 games. That's what I'm going to be happy with, first of all. Secondly, I do got to blame Lovie Smith. I think a lot of people look at the fact that he had he gave up 12 and a half yards per reception, basically per play. And a lot of it had to do with, cover two. When your assignment is to be in a certain area and they just say, okay, we'll just go up the seam. There's no one there. And you don't have any sort of mic that can cover at all. So you had no pressure really from the front seven. You had no real mic to speak of. All those yards get put on you. And so, if you look at the box score, and it all gets attributed to him. They kind of did a lot of the same stuff to Petrie too, by the way. But the point is that the front seven did not help the secondary. And so both Petrie and Singletary got hate when the hate was not deserved. Derick Stingley, I think, is going to have a pretty good season if he can stay healthy. And when I say pretty good, I think he's going to have a good 4 or 5 picks. And I think that, I don't know if he'll give up a touchdown. And I think he will be on par with Sauce. The biggest thing, in my opinion, was that there was no pass rush and there was a system that he was not used to. Right.
Let me ask you something, VT. You think if Sauce Gardner played in this system last year, it would look the same way? You think he would not make his presence felt? You wouldn't see him make some sort of plays in some way. You watch how physical he is. You think his season goes the exact same way that Derick Stingley was, like just being crippled by the coach?
Sauce Gardner played almost 50% man. Derick Stingley played in about 10%. That alone just boxes you in on what you're able to do. So, yeah, I think if Sauce came here, he would have played more games, so he had a better season overall. But, yeah, he would not have looked the way he looked like in New York at all. And that's definitively because of Lovie Smith.
Fair. But I guess we have different opinions of what when I watch Derick Stingley, like I can think of like 2 plays.
Yeah, the whole game
in 9 weeks. He made a really good pick against Trevor Lawrence, and really Trevor kind of gave it to him, but he was there and he kind of read his eyes. Like I could think of a couple, like 1 or 2 plays that jump out where I'm like, hey, that dude made
that red zone stance against the Colts where he had like this
Alex Pierce sat down. That was hot.
But outside of that,
outside
of that, man, like go watch that Denver game. Man, he was playing some man. And Cortland Sutton was absolutely doing him in.
Alive,
Go watch that Giants game. Like there was some, like he was in some coverage situations where I don't want to kill the kid because I think this secondary. I mean, like to me, that's arguably the most excited position group I'm into. I think they got a chance to be one of the best secondaries altogether in the league. But I think a lot of it does kind of factor on what Derick Stingley is going to be. And he's got, like, as I said, man, I agree with you. Lovie did not put him in the best positions possible. I don't think Lovie put Jalen Petrie in the best positions possible. Yep, Jalen Petrie flashed, though. Jalen Petrie made plays, though. Jalen Petrie, you can remember and recall things that he did. So I don't want to just I think there it is, like that pass a bit that Derick gets, because this year we shouldn't hear it, because I know a lot of zone corners, Richard Sherman, Rondé Barber, who've played in this system. Now, granted, they had better pass rushes, but they made their presence felt, and he didn't. Hell, Steven Nelson on the other side jumped off the page more when he played at times. So that's my only thing with Derick, man. It ain't all Lovie. He's still got to do something.
I hear there, but I also want to say, all right, we're talking about Petrie. If you notice or remember, when Petrie started going off, when they moved him off a strong safety to free safety, that move is what made him succeed. They were playing him wrong too. They just actually ended up changing where they played him so he could actually stand out. They didn't do that with Stingley. And you're right. Stingley should have probably played better in zone. Like one of the things that I said early on is, all right, I know he's playing a lot of zone, but perhaps this is just, it's a throwaway season anyway, so let him get his reps in and get better at zone, because no one's going to play man 100% of the time anyway. So you got to get your zone reps in. But the fact is that I think that Lovie Smith hobbled his development by not putting him in man enough. And now he has to almost – and the injuries didn't help. And now he has to really get up to speed in this offseason to really focus on what he can do this season. I think that this is in my opinion, this is the last ending of the so-called rebuild. And so in 2024, everyone's got to be on their A game, Stingley included. So this is the year where he's got to show up, because everyone on this squad has to be ready to get in the playoffs in 2024. If you're not ready to be in the playoffs, you're not in the squad in 2024. So him included, he's got to show up and do what he needs to do this year.
You agree? Sure.
I agree. He is a huge. I mean, the number 3 pick, he has to be special, and even more special because of the dude that was selected right behind him. You had the shot. You had the chance to take whatever corner you wanted off the board. Many people had Sauce rated ahead of you. The whole reason why people had Sauce rated ahead of him was his physicality and his ability to play. And that was the issue that bugged you with Derick Stingley last year. And the deal is, we know what can be done in this system, because Sauce Gardner played in that system that he's about to play in under Robert Saleh. So we know what can be done. No more excuses.
You not really in touch if you not tuning in. This is Crenshaw, Briggs, and VT. We want the touchdown. We not trying to go for 3. And it's best if you get up out the street, cause them bulls out the pen and they about to stampede.